Hello and welcome to this candidate forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Marin County. My name is Linda Deere. Our timekeeper is Ann Laser. The two candidates with us today are each running to fill a 4-year position on the Strawberry Recreation District Board. They are Pamela Bonner, Porter Davis. Cale Barrett-Nichols isn't with us today. The candidates have been invited to each make a 2-minute opening statement. We'll begin with Pam Bonner.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Pamela Bonner. I've lived in Strawberry for 13 years, where my husband and I have raised our 3 children. I have sat on the Strawberry Recreation District Board for 4 years. While I've held office, we as a board have addressed many issues. I personally am part of the Design Subcommittee with Jeff Francis and the Human Resources Subcommittee with Peter Teese. We as a board have dealt and deal with community issues that don't always have easy answers. For example, the master plan for the seminary and its impact on the community. Zone 4, the Richardson Bay dredging that directly affects the homeowners that live on the water in Strawberry. Caring for the pocket parks and open spaces, navigating delicate issues between neighbors and the use of district-held space. Managing the best way to deal with a 50-plus-year-old building that needs renovations and what we can do on a limited budget and the best use of taxpayers' money. Along with issues related to the daily operations of a pool, swim team, swim lessons, baseball, soccer field, tennis programs, after-school programs, etc. The list is long. These are just a few examples. For me, it is important to remember that my job is to help address these issues for the community and what is best for it. We as a board are there to guide, give direction, and respect the opinions of others. We focus on the needs of the community as a whole and not individual agendas. Thank you.
And now we'll hear from Porter Davis.
Thank you. My name is Porter Davis. I grew up in Alameda, moved to Marin 40 years ago, and I lived in Strawberry for the last 20 years. I'm a member of Harbor Point Tennis Club, and I play tournament tennis, and I'm very interested in recreation. I have a very interesting example. I was 6 years old, and I played for the Franklin Park Midgets baseball team. And there was this wonderful coach, Ray Lewis, and one of the things he told us was, never give up. Never give up. And I never forgot that. So I think that recreation is very important for the community, especially for children. In fact, there's a neighbor of mine, Kieran Hellman, and he looked out his window and asked me what I was doing one day. I was washing my car. I ended up hitting ball with him. He was 3.5 years old. And a month later, we started hitting tennis balls. This little guy was just adorable to watch him develop. So this is really important. But more importantly, the issues that I'm seeing, number one, is the impact the seminary is going to have on traffic, but also potential recreation facilities. The other issue is the facilities upgrades that are needed and the possibility of creating funding other ways than we've already done. So my purpose in running for this office was to bring awareness to the public and to help the board. So thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Now we'll begin asking questions. The candidates will each have 2 minutes to respond. We'll start with Pam and then move to Porter. So first question.
Thank you.
Describe the functions and priorities of the Strawberry Recreation District as you see them.
I would say I would see the functions and priorities of the Strawberry Recreation District can vary from time to time, depending on things that happen on a day-to-day basis with the building. So if something's broken, then that can become a priority. When you're dealing with the community and how it impacts the community, those become priorities. So I would say that's how it works for us.
Thank you. Porter?
I think that the Strawberry Recreation District has done a wonderful job of serving the community. And I agree that what we want to do on the board is to make the programs available to all ages, especially seniors who have difficulty getting to certain recreation programs. Recently, I've been doing yoga for 45 years, and I do it every morning. And recently, I started doing Qigong, and it totally changed my physical being. And I've only been doing it for 7 months. I do it every morning for about 15 or 20 minutes. And so it's things like this, bringing in new ideas to the district that impact everybody.
Thank you. Next question, and we're going to begin with you, Porter. How would you assess the condition of district facilities, and what, if any, improvements would you recommend?
Thank you. Well, the facilities of the district are immense, and they're beautiful, but there's a lot of deferred maintenance. There were two bond issues that had been put out to the residents of Strawberry, and both of them were defeated. One was for $3 million and the other was for $7 million. I personally think more money is needed than that. And so my purpose for being here is to bring an awareness to the public, the people of Strawberry, how they can financially support the deferred maintenance that's needed and the upgrades that will be needed as we grow and bring in new kinds of programs.
Thank you. Pam?
Can you repeat the question again?
Sure.
Thank you.
How would you assess the condition of district facilities, and what, if any, improvements would you recommend?
Thank you. Having been on the board for about 4 years, I would say that we see daily that there are issues that need to be addressed with the buildings that have been there. They're beautiful buildings, but they're falling apart, and they need upgrades, electrical upgrades, sound upgrades. The pool building needs an upgrade, and we have tried to raise money with the bond measures. Unfortunately, the community was not, they didn't feel that that was important at this time. So we've taken steps to figure out other ways to raise money so that we can actually take that money and use it towards the upgrades of the building. And we keep working on this, and we will just keep working on it, and hopefully that will happen.
Thank you. This is a direct follow-on. How would you assess the financial health of the district, and what recommendations do you have to raise money? And we'll begin with Pam.
We keep working on things that we think would be helpful to raise money. We are expanding programs at the district, which helps raise money. We take some of that money and we put it aside, and whatever is in the most need, we will, work on that particular thing first. It's a constant battle because it's a small district. It doesn't make a lot of money, so trying to expand programs to actually increase the revenue so that we can eventually take care of the issues that the old buildings need is an ongoing conversation that we constantly have on the board.
Porter?
I think the board has done a wonderful job of improving the facilities and improving the programs of the district. I think that what's going to be needed is watching how we approach deferred maintenance and what kind of funds we really need. I have an example of how I got involved when I came back from Korea. I was on the Navy ship and I volunteered to work for the Navy, and I was assigned to the captain of the ship, and we had to inspect the whole ship, and I took notes. And it was very interesting to watch how he addressed issues of maintenance, preventive maintenance. He kept telling me, this is what's important when you're running a ship this big and 3,000 people on it. So I learned a lot about preventive maintenance. In fact, I've just noticed the Golden Gate Bridge used to be painted every day, and I haven't seen it painted for almost 12 years now. Check it when you drive across it. There's a lot of rust.
Thank you. Okay, next question. What is your position on the application to develop the Baptist Seminary property? What impact might this development have on the district? And we'll begin with Porter.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because the president of the seminary, Jeff Orge, was a hugging buddy of mine. I am a real estate broker, and I wanted to develop some of the lots up there 12 years ago. And then, about 8 years ago, they decided to start looking at modifying and changing the use of the site. So I was put on hold. And then about 6 years ago, I addressed Jeff and I said, Jeff, you ought to sell this. So I brought in Bill McCubbin, who brought in the Fasken Trust, and they bought it. Now, what they want to do is bring in the Branson School. I think it ought to be all residential. I don't think there should be any commercial up there. It's too beautiful a site. There should be lots of open spaces for people to continue to walk and enjoy the views from that site. Also, there's a lot of space that can be utilized for our community, and they can donate part of the new development for the recreation district and also the community. Maybe a little kiddie school, or who knows.
Thank you. Pam?
I would say that the Strawberry Recreation District doesn't really have a place as far as the seminary is concerned. I think that we will have ongoing discussions with them as far as the development is concerned in relation to the use of the space. We will certainly continue to inform the community as it relates to the seminary. I personally, my position on it is I would like to see something go in there that makes sense for the community, it makes sense for the space, and that's how I feel about it.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question, we'll begin with Pam. The district manages a number of parks and open space areas. How do you establish or modify rules and regulations to accommodate conflicting priorities among members of the community?
I think it's a delicate balance. I think it's very hard, but we have to listen to the community. We have to listen to the needs of everybody, and then we have to assess, what's best for the district and the community, and that's always an ongoing conversation. And there's never an easy answer to that. So I would say it's a lot of discussion.
Porter?
I like what you said. I'm going to agree with that. And I think that one of the important things in the community and for the district is to listen to the community, to listen to people, to get people involved. In fact, the other night, on Monday night, there was the Strawberry Review was listening to the proposal for the development of the seminary. And there were over 330 people in that room. and it was wonderful to hear what so many people had to say. And so they are willing to speak out. And I think Pam's right. We should get them to do that and listen to them.
Thank you. Given your management of many of these open spaces and paths, what are your thoughts on pesticide use in these open areas? And we'll start with Porter.
Well, that's a good question because I don't know much about pesticides. I don't use them. And so I probably would say, let's watch out. Maybe we shouldn't. And maybe there might be times when it might be important to use them when we have no other choice. But basically, I'm against pesticides.
Pam?
I would agree with Porter on that. Yes, I'm against pesticides. I don't think that the Strawberry Recreation District uses any pesticides at this moment. So yeah, I would say if it was as needed basis, if it was important, it was impacting the community, and there was some reason, compelling reason to use pesticides, then I guess that would be what would happen.
Thank you. I'll begin with Pam. What is the most important thing that can be done to ease traffic around the district facilities?
Right now? Are you talking about
Or
now
in the
or
future.
in the future regarding the seminary? That's a really good question. I think that there are some studies out there that I don't know of any of it. So that is a really good question. I don't think I can comment on it intellectually because I don't have any information as far as the traffic. So I would say that's a tough question to answer without having any information. Thank you.
Thanks. Porter?
Well, I think that's a great question because I've driven over 1 million miles, and I think that we love our cars and we like to drive. And there's going to be traffic, and there's going to be more traffic. One of my favorite sayings is that the San Francisco Bay Area is one of the 5 most beautiful places on this earth to live, work, play, and recreate. Well, we're recreating here, and we're right in the epicenter of that. So I think that we're going to have more cars. We're going to have to learn how to deal with it. There may be some kind of controls. Maybe, I have no idea what would be successful, but I think we will have more cars.
Okay. Just so I haven't left anything out, I just want to make sure and ask this question. What do you believe are the major issues you'll be facing when the new board meets? What's your key priorities of the board as you see them? And we'll start with Porter.
Well, thank you very much. I think community awareness is the big one. When only 800 people voted in a bond issue, I think that's not too good. Also, I think that other forms of raising funds would be important. I'm on the board of directors of Marin Shakespeare Company. I've been on there for 18 years. We've had these same issues, and we have all kinds of different methods that we go out and create funds for a world-class program that's put over on Dominican College. So I think that the facilities, upgrades, dealing with what's going to happen with the seminary and traffic and potential use for the recreation district, I think those are all important.
Thank you. Pam?
I would say that I will continue to act as a community member on the board and deal with the issues directly relating to the district, the building upgrades that are needed, raising money for that, the programming, continuing to inform the community as things come up in relation to the community center.
Thank you. Is there anything that you would like to tell the viewers that hasn't been covered by these questions? And the answer, if you say no, is fine. I just want to make sure I give you the opportunity to say anything before we move into closing statements. So Pam, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't think so.
Porter?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
What I've understood about the board so far is that they've done a good job. And I went down to the office and I ran into Leanne, who manages the daily activities, and the staff is very professional and they're very progressive. So I think that what the board has done, and Pam, you're part of that, I think you've done a great job. And my purpose here is to bring an awareness to you, the public, of what they're facing. And if they get to be reelected, I'm going to support them 100%.
Okay, well that ends the question portion of this forum. Before the candidates make their closing statements, we want to give you some important dates. Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. If you wish to register to vote, or if you've moved since the last time you voted and want to re-register, the deadline is Tuesday, October 11th. Requests for absentee ballots must be received by the Registrar of Voters no later than Friday, October 28th. Early voting begins Monday, October 24th at Civic Center, room 121. If you go to the League's votersedge.org website and enter your street address and zip code, you'll be able to see your own ballot. In addition, you'll find links to candidate information, issues, ballot measures, and all other resources at the League's website. Now each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. Let's begin with Porter Davis.
Thank you. I've been involved in recreation all my life. As I mentioned before, I was on the Franklin baseball team, midgets, when I was 6. I played tournament handball for 35 years and won the championship twice in Oakland. I sailed for over 40 years and was a champion sailor on the bay. I then played racquetball for 40 years on top of all of that, and I started tennis 40 years ago, and I've been a tournament player and a winner in tennis tournaments. I've won 128 out of 138 matches in the Marin Open Tennis League. I presently play in the senior circuit around Northern California. One of the important things for me has been taking care of my body and recreating. I've been doing yoga, as I mentioned, for 45 years. I've been jogging for 68 years a mile, and I changed that to wind sprints 7 months ago because I was having trouble on the tennis courts. And that's helped me a whole bunch. So there's always something new for each of us to do. I think it's important that the Recreation District gets this information out to all of our constituents. Our registered voters are over 2,600, but there's 5,400 people in Strawberry. And we need to let them know that we're here for them and we want their best health and their happiness all the time.
Thank you. Pam?
Okay, just wrote a little something. Just like to reiterate how important it is to work together as a board to come up with solutions that serve the community in the best possible way. I feel it is my duty as a board member to be as objective as I can, hearing all sides before forming an opinion and giving direction that fits the needs of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the candidates and our timekeeper, Ann Laser. And thank you to you, the audience, for watching.